you get a couple simulators, you get a couple flights, you get 10 hours in Omni, you're qualified in that weapons platform. So you really don't learn the airplane. You
Yeah,
really
of
don't.
course. Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, but hey, I was going to fly a Hornet, so I'll take it. So that's what I ended up doing. So I ended up going to the RAG, the East Coast RAG, right there at Cecil, because that's where the everything was, and got my big whopping 10 hours. And then the first thing I wanted to do was like, okay, I got to start learning this airplane. And then there's rules and regulations in the Navy where, like for us, was you actually had to have 25 hours of flight time in the platform just to start getting the training, the aggressor training, because
Yeah.
we're going to be flying our Hornets as aggressors. So immediately as soon as I got out of the RAG, I was like, okay, I got to get cross country. I just got to build up the 25 hour as quick as I can,
Mhm.
and then go and start getting qualified in that one. And then and there's a funny story there as well. It's a lot of people don't know this one, and but it's so funny. I think your audiences will like it. So what ends up happening is I get out of the RAG and I contact the aggressor squadron that I was planning on going to anyway. It was the fourth generation aggressor squadron. They're still in existence today. They had their Hornets all painted up, like it almost looks like a big 29. The same paint scheme and everything. They look really hot, and they're old lot Hornets, so they don't have all the because they're A's. So in other words, they have a lot of capability to them because, as you add more capabilities to the airplane, you start bubbling up the airplane, right? With all
Yeah, of
stuff, which is
course.
drag. Yeah. So these things were, and I didn't realize that. I didn't get that memo, by the way. It's like, hey, these aren't like the normal Hornets. These things can, they can super cruise, which they
So they were little
could.
hot rods.
Yeah, you could super cruise at altitude in military, not in burner. In military, you could go
In a Hornet.
speed of sound.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
it's super cruise. So I'm like going, and again, I didn't get that memo. So so what ends up happening is they go, hey, I gotta get 25 hornet time so I can start the aggressor qualifications. Roger that. Hey, it just so happens we got a Hornet up here that we need to deliver to California for the intermediate depot. It's a big maintenance thing where they
Yeah,
carry
yeah.
all. Yeah. So I said, perfect.
Hands up.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'm there. They'll give me across the country, rack it up, that kind. Well, again, I'm still learning the airplane. I'm constantly, and by the time, like I said, I was still flying the Tomcat too. So I'm dual qualified.
Yeah.
And one day I'd fly the Tom, one day I'd fly the Hornet. But again, I had the most hours of the Tom, so I'm used to all the fuel specs and everything like that. Well, sure enough, so I'm going to drop her off. Then I'm going to catch a red eye back to Florida, where my staff was, where I worked. So I flight planned the whole thing out there, and I'm like, okay, I'll go to NES at Oceana, to Memphis, to Albuquerque, and then actually, yeah, three legs. That'll do it. So I knew the Hornet always had the reputation. It didn't have a lot of legs to it like the Tom does.
Yeah.
Tomcat had that 20,000 pounds of fuel. You'd stay up there and go for a long time. So sure enough, I get up there, I'm launching out, and I'm like, God, dog. I'm looking at my fuel stats. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it to Memphis. It's like, how, it's like, man, they weren't kidding. This thing doesn't have legs. So I had to go ahead and file a draft airborne and get a clearance to jump into Meridian. So then I jump into Meridian, and I'm like going, okay, it's like, can I make Meridian to Albuquerque? That's going to be tight. Let me see if I can do that. And so sure enough, I launch out, and I'm not going to make that either. So now it goes from 3 legs to 4 legs. So I go, oh crap. So I go jump into Wichita Falls, Shepherd Air Force Base, do a quick, brief fuel, and I'm like, okay, I could zorch to, I know I'm not going to make it from Wichita Falls, which is in Texas, all the way to San Diego somewhere. I'm going to have to just zorch to Albuquerque, and zorch from Albuquerque and still make my airline flight, my red eye back.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So sure enough, here's what I do. I do a quick call, and I said, and just to get Albuquerque a heads up, like, I need, when I land, if you guys could be there to fuel me up real quick, you'd be doing me a big favor. And they go, well, what are you talking about? You can't come here. I'm like, well, why not? And he goes, no, we got Air Force Two coming. The vice president's coming here. The field's shutting down.
Oh.
And I go, you gotta be kidding me. I go, well, I said, what time do you arrive at? And he gives me a 10. I said, I can beat him there. I'll beat him there. Don't worry about that. I file, I launch out. I'm literally doing supersonic on the airways. And I didn't mean to do it. I really, this is.
Of course you didn't. No.
Well, I was going military. I was hoping to be doing like 0.999, like that. Yeah. But I was going to say, because you can't go supersonic on the airways. And so, but sure enough, I looked down one time. I'm like 1.1. I'm like, oh crap, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get violated on this thing. So I had to squeak it back off mil. And anyway, so then I check in, and they go, where are you going? The approach goes, where are you going? I said, Albuquerque. He goes, no, you're not. Air Force 2 is on approach. They're now. Oh. And I'm like going, oh. And then so I slew my radar, pick them up. I said, I can beat them there. And I literally, because then they go, and I'm starting to fight with the approach, and I find that, hey, look at, because to doing all this, I had burned all my fuel. I said, I go, hey, I'm minimum fuel. And like, okay, we understand you're declaring emergency fuel. I said, I didn't want to do that, because now declaring emergency. I say, negative. I'm minimal fuel, but I really, and if he's getting so pissed, he goes, all right, just get aboard. So I literally cut off Al Gore in the Air Force 2, which I love to this day because I can't stand that.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Land there, and then get refueled, get out of there. And I thought for sure I was going to hear all about all this. Never heard a word. Not a word. Not a word about the supersonic airways. Not a word about cutting off Air Force 2. I thought for sure the Air Force guys say, hey, dude, what are you doing cutting us off? And not a thing, man. So
not until now, anyway.
Yeah, made a great story. Yeah, if they don't know who.
Wow, what a story. So, did you so you got I'm guessing the hot fuel and you were back out?
Well, the funny thing about that was I land, and now the ground controller is even pissed off. He's like, okay, where are you going to go now? We have secured the whole base. So I'm like going, and I look over and I see like this hangar over here, and it's like an Army. I think they got a Army helicopter over there. I said, I'll take the Army hangar over here. And I said, hey, can you give the fuel guys a call? so Larry, I went and taxied there, and they had no idea who this Hornet, this aggressor MiG looking like Hornet coming up, what is he doing? Who's taking care of this? And they had no idea. And so literally what had to happen when I taxied myself, stopped, opened up, walked on the airplane, walked on the wing, all the way to the end of the wing, jumped off because I couldn't. You have to have someone open up the stuff, and I jumped down. Just as a car and a Jeep pulls up and goes, "Sir, what are you doing here?" I said, "I got a phone." I said, "Give the fuel guy a call and get him out here as soon as possible." And luckily, I mean, he just said, "Yes, sir." So it was a crazy flight, but.
And did you take off in full afterburner, so just to make sure everyone knew you were landed there?
Oh yeah, because now my next big worry was, am I going to make my airline?
Yeah, next,
and that's another story. But it's bottom line is I still made it barely.
That's brilliant.